Sonic the Hedgehog. The name alone could evoke a number of different reactions, but to me, it's something I hold near and dear to my heart. And lucky me, this franchise is old, like really old, much older than me by a lot. In fact, I think the first game came out when my dad was around my age. Anyways, this gaming franchise is bound to have a number of games. It's only natural, and I want to look at the most important mainline ones and give them a review. Boy, there are some of these games I just do not enjoy. I want to go over some ground rules. 1. Each game will be covered in release order. 2. I will only cover games I've played or beaten close to completion, so a lot of games that should count don't. 3. I will be ranking the game as a whole. And finally 4. This is subjective, but an informational tier list. I will cover each game with facts first, then my personal opinion. Got that? Good. Now let's move on to Bing Bang. Sonic the Hedgehog finds himself on South Island exploring around. Suddenly he finds an army of robots terrorizing animal life. Seeing those in danger sets Sonic on a quest to save them from Dr. Robotnik's takeover and search for the 6 mythical Chaos Emeralds. Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis was released in 1991, being worked on by designer Hirokazu Yasuhara, programmer Yuji Naka, artist Naoto Oshima, Gina Ishawatari, and Riko Kodama. Their small team within Sega would later be named Sonic Team. This game would introduce Sonic the Hedgehog, Dr. Robotnik, later renamed Dr. Eggman, and the Chaos Emeralds. Despite the constant reuse of Green Hill Zone in modern media, Sonic doesn't actually live there. Or is he even from there? He's from an island called Christmas Island. Sonic travels to West Side Island to investigate why the mythical Chaos Emeralds have traveled there. Once he arrives, he finds and saves the two-tailed fox and bullies and inspires him to be better. The team of Sonic and Miles Tails Prower go and search for the 6 Chaos Emeralds of the last island and the new one of this island, while thwarting Dr. Robotnik's plan to launch the Death Egg. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis was the long-awaited sequel released in 1992. Worked on by Sega of America with some members of Sonic Team who split off to make this. The other members would go work on the next title we're covering. The director was Masahiro Yoshii, and this was the first game where a band helped with the soundtrack, the band being Dreams Come True. Sonic 2 is actually the third one, as Sonic's CD canonically happens first. Sonic hears about a legend of a miniature planet that appears over Never Lake. It is said to come and go in an instant. Sonic is treated by the mystery runs to Never Lake and finds that it's been encased in a metal shell, chained to a mountain with Robotnik's face engraved into it. Sonic decides to stop this and runs up the chain up to the planet. Can he use the mythical time stone to create a good future? Sonic the Hedgehog CD for the Sega Genesis add-on, the Sega CD, was released in 1993, being worked on by director Naoto Oshima, Sonic's character designer. Because it was on a CD, they had more space for data such as music, and boy, the CD has some good music. The game introduces a new ability for Sonic. He sneezes when he senses danger, like a spider sense of sorts. They never use this again. After the events of Sonic 2, Robotnik's Death Egg falls onto Angel Island, sending it plummeting to the ocean below. Robotnik sees a giant gem known as the Master Emerald and immediately begins his next plan. Being confronted by the island's guardian, Knuckles the Echidna, Robotnik convinces the gullible Knuckles that Sonic and Tails are evil and want to steal the Master Emerald. The two team up to stop Sonic and Tails, who are on their way because of an ancient ring that washed up on the shoreline. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was the greatest adventure yet, releasing in 1994 for the Sega Genesis. Working once again in America, Yuji Naka, the lead programmer of Sonic 1, refused to work with the Americans and took his section of Sonic Team and split again, working on Sonic 3. This is the second time he's done this. Knuckles has the incorrect palette in this game. He's more pink instead of red, and his shoe cuffs are yellow. After the failed relaunch of the Death Egg, Robotnik goes all out to see his plan through, stealing the Master Emerald, fully launching the Death Egg, Sonic and Tails, with the help of Knuckles, who realized the truth, set to stop the launch Death Egg and the newly built Mecha Sonic Mach 3, and returning the Master Emerald to Angel Island, allowing it to float once again. After the quest, a lone egg robo restarts the invasion on Angel Island. Knuckles, wanting to make up for his mistakes, takes action and defends his home. Sonic & Knuckles is a sort of sequel to Sonic 3, more so being an expansion. Developed by the same team as Sonic 3 in the same year, this game has special cartridges that allowed certain games to be plugged into it, allowing for a new experience. Sonic 3 and Sonic 2 both had special things that happened if you used that technology. Every other game gave you a blue spheres simulation. Okay, so this is an extended version of the fun facts section. I just want to go over the complicated history of re-releases because of the music. Now, because of some legal mumbo-jumbo, Sega doesn't own most of the music in Sonic 3. Just like Sonic 2, they brought in a special guest to make the music. And who was this guest? Yep, him, Michael Jackson. He went uncredited in the game though, but it's him alright. The Jetsons were also there as well, although that one's a little more obvious. Well, I guess another fun fact, the reason for the game being split in two, or a reason, was because of McDonald's toy line deal they made. Hey, how you doing so far? We're about a fourth of the way through this whole thing so far. And it's only going to get longer and longer. Hope you're ready. This is already the most amount of writing I've done for anything. Knuckles was protecting the Master Emerald when suddenly it shattered, releasing a ball of light and an ancient water monster that escaped before Knuckles could stop him. This causes Angel Island to fall to the ground, right onto the Mystic Ruins. A certain frog drinks a bit of the water monster, growing a tail. This will be extremely important later, and more stuff. It really was a lot. I recommend playing the game. Oh yeah, Robotnik starts calling himself Eggman here, so will I. Released in 1998, Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast by Sonic Team, they introduced a Pet Simulator side mode that would only get more and more complex. This was the first mainline Sonic game in about 4 years, skipping a whole Sega generation of consoles. Dr. Eggman breaks into a gun base to steal their ultimate weapon, unleashing Shadow the Hedgehog onto the world. The two get to work, stealing Chaos Emeralds to activate the Ark's Eclipse Cannon. Sonic, who gets framed for Shadow's crimes, set out to stop them. Will you save the world or conquer it? Or perhaps, with enough pushes in the right direction, will Shadow evolve beyond good and evil? Released in 2001 for the 10th anniversary, Sonic Adventure 2 was the last Sonic game on a Sega console, and the first on a Nintendo console. This game was ambitious for the time, even for Sonic games. Like Adventure 1, it did more to expand the lore than anything before. This was a turning point. Looking back, it would never be the same after this. For the main theme of Live and Learn, the lead singer of Crush 40, Johnny Goel, thought that he did a bad job. He only realized how popular it was after doing a live show in 2008 and seeing the audience reaction. Okay, so this game has a lot of different stories that all intertwine well summarized. Metal Sonic gets upgraded and takes over the Eggman Empire, dubbing himself Neo Metal Sonic. He kidnaps a Chow named Chicola and the frog named Froggy, the frog who drank Chaos, for the Chaos DNA. Then he calls out Sonic and his friends with a letter with a video on it. Rouge discovers Shadow is alive, and there's a robot named Omega who's upset that his destructive power was wasted on protecting a room, and the Chaotix need money. Okay, so this was the first mainline game that was exclusively third-party, releasing on Xbox, PS2, and GameCube, and PC. I don't particularly enjoy this one. just everything about it. Shadow the Hedgehog was supposed to stay dead, but as you see, yeah, okay, yeah. So after the events of Heroes, Shadow still has amnesia from his supposed death from SA2. Suddenly, an alien invasion begins, and the leader of the aliens appears before Shadow, revealing himself to be Black Doom, leader of the alien hive mind of the Black Arms. Black Doom promises Shadow answers in exchange for helping him find the Chaos Emeralds, since he was born from their DNA. Shadow has to make a choice, side with humanity, Black Doom, or maybe somewhere in the middle. This game is absurd. They gave Shadow the Hedgehog a ton of guns and made him say damn. But I love this game for what it is. Released on all the same platforms as Heroes, excluding PC, in 2005. This game is silly. It rehashes SA2 in the worst ways, but in my opinion, it makes the whole SA2 thing stronger. They accidentally translated Shadow's final line in the final cutscene. Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog, to goodbye forever, Shadow the Hedgehog. Whoever was in charge of translations missed the reference, as both Maria and Sonic said it in SA2. So this is the ending. For now. This is a really long video already, and it's only the halfway point. So I figured instead of rushing, I'd take a step back and improve the general script and video as a whole, and then focus on the rest later. Which I did not. This is... okay. So the next video will cover the modern era as a whole. Sonic Rush, the Shadow Generation, since I'm splitting Sonic and Shadow Generations. I hope you stick around. Bye-bye.